to this tutorial on creating a table as well as constraints during table creation presented by www.oraclecoach.com. This is Claire Rajan showing you how to create a table as well as add constraints to the table during the creation of the table using SQL Developer action menus. To begin with, I'm going to show you a document that describes the table that we're going to create along with its constraints. This table is called Customer. The customer table has 5 columns. Cust number, which is a numeric column with a size 4. We'll be creating the primary key constraint on this column, and the name of the constraint will be cust_pk. First name, a varchar2 column with a size 10. This column will have the not null constraint on it, and the name of the constraint will be fn_nn. Last name, a varchar2 column with a size 10. Once again, a not null constraint, and the name of the constraint is ln_nn. The fourth column will be called first_per_date. This is a date column. It does not have any constraints on it. And the fifth and last column is email, which is a varchar2 column with a size 50. We'll be creating the unique constraint on it with the name email_uk. I'm going to go ahead and start SQL Developer. I've already got the application open on my desktop. I've got a connection called C1 with this database, and I'm connected as the user HR. A list of all the tables belonging to the user HR are displayed to you under tables. And what I'm going to do is right-click on tables to display the context-sensitive menu and choose the option of New Table. The Create Table dialog window has appeared. If the advanced checkbox is not selected, please select it so that you will be able to see all the options to create a table. Now I'm going to change the name of this table, and I'm going to call it Customer. I'm going to specify the columns one by one. The first column was called Cust Number. Cust number was a numeric column with a precision of 4. I'm going to select the Add Column button to create the second column. This column was first name, a varchar2 column with a size 10. This was a not null column, so I'm going to select the checkbox cannot be null. I'm once again going to go ahead and select the Add Column button to add the third column. This was the last name column, a varchar2 column with a size of 10. This was also a not null column, so I'm going to select the checkbox cannot be null. To create the fourth column, I'm going to select the Add Column button. This column was called first_per_date. It was a date column that did not have any constraints on it. The fifth and last column was called email. This was a varchar2 column with a size of 50. Now at this point, I've created all the different columns in the table, and what I will then have to do is add the constraints, the primary and the unique constraints to this table. Now, please don't select the OK button right now, because we still have to add the primary and the unique constraints, which can be created using this left side panel. To create the primary key constraint, I'm going to select the words primary key from the left side panel, and what I will have to do is mention the name of the constraint, which I wanted as cust_pk. The column on which the constraint had to be created was Cust Number, so I'm going to select Cust Number from the available columns. Select the Add button, which is your blue greater than symbol, and the name of the column will appear against the selected columns window. Now that's all you have to do to create the primary key constraint. I'm going to now add the unique constraint. To add the unique constraint, the first thing I would have to do is select the Add button to indicate I'm creating the first unique constraint. The name of this constraint was email_uk. The constraint was created on the email column, so I'm going to select email from the available columns, select the greater than symbol, which is the Add button, to have it appear in the selected columns list, And that's all I have to do as far as creating the unique constraint goes. Now at this time, I've created the primary and the unique constraint that I wanted to create on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and select the OK button. The table called customer has appeared under the table's list. And if I select the name customer, on the right side panel, I'm going to get a tab with the name customer on it, which shows me the structure of the customers table along with the different column names and their data types. Now, to see the constraints on this table, I'm going to select the word constraints. This will open the constraints tab and I will be able to see all the different constraints on this table. Now I have the cust_pk, which was the primary key constraint. I have email_uk, which was the unique constraint. Now this constraint called the check constraint, which says cust number is not null, was automatically created by Oracle because the cust number column was the primary key, and a primary key by default is a not null column. Now the two constraints that I created which were not null were on the first name and the last name column. And because I did not have a chance to mention the name of the constraint during the creation of the table, I would have to change it appropriately based on what I wanted to name the constraint. Now, if you recall, we wanted to name the constraint on the first name column FN_NN and the constraint on the last name as LN_NN. To do this, what I'm going to do is select the Actions button, and once I select it, I'm going to get a drop-down list where I will be able to rename a constraint. I'm going down to Constraint and then I'm choosing the option of Rename Single. Now here I will be able to identify the old name and then specify the new name. The constraint on the first name column was called sys_C004129. So I'm going to drop this list down and choose the name C004129, and I wanted to call this constraint as FN_NN. I'm going to select the apply button so that the name gets changed. Now to rename the other constraint which was created on the last name column, I'm once again going to select Actions. I'm going down to Constraint. I'm choosing Rename Single. The name of the constraint was C004130, which is this one, and the name of this constraint was LN_NN. Selecting the Apply button and OK on the confirmation window. At this point, the constraints have been renamed, and I can have a look at the new names by selecting the Refresh button right here. So here are the constraints that we have created called cust_pk, email_uk, fn_nn, ln_nn, just the way we wanted to. This was a tutorial that described how to create a table as well as add the primary and unique constraint during table creation. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you find this tutorial useful. For other tutorials on Oracle related topics, please visit www.oraclecoach.com.